ourselves on page Dalet. Now there's a lot of there's a lot on this page. Let's see what's happened here. Okay, there we go. There's a lot on this page and on all of its pages. So let's see how this works now. So we're looking at it in detail. We're on the Ha'oros V'Ha'aros. I don't know how you pronounce those two words. And let's just read along a little bit along the top, because he has numbers Gimel all the way down to number Ches here. And basically these are site references, but they contain different ideas. Ukashadarish Rebbe Shimon Bereishit Elul. Hoysech Mobel Nishmas Moshe Rabbeinu V'Raya Mehemna. V'Amaloch Haraya Mehemna of the Rebbe Shimon. So he said to Rebbe Shimon. Now this is the place we're at right now. So according to the, let me bring this down a little bit more, just a little bit more, because it's very small. Focus. There we go. Number Gimel. Now this is a quote, I guess, from the Kisei Melech. In the Be'er L'Chayoi, Bepirish Ben Yahu, Kosev Ke Eliyahu Hanavi Omer Kain. It is Eliyahu Hanavi who said that what did he say? He said, Omer Lo Harayim Hemna the Rebbe Shimon. So that who's quoting this is somebody watching this, I guess, who is Eliyahu Hanavi. According to this, I think what he's saying. Amar Kain Sheshaloch Min Hashemayim, the says Rishus the Rashbi V'Chavera the Drosh B'Sodas Torah. Became Kosebo Golos. Now I looked this up. I don't know who this is. It says the Marzah, and I got it as Rabbeinu Tzvi. Let's see what they say. Tzvi. I can't read my writing. Elimelech. There it is. Tzvi Elimelech. That's what I got. I don't know if that's the Marzah. There was another name associated there too. V'Kisei Melech. Docha Pirish Zeh, he pushes this Pirish aside, Bifnation, the Emelech alone, Rishusa is Hiv Lahon, Vile Eliyahu Imahim. So now it doesn't sound like Eliyahu is the one that would be making the statement, since he's also quoted as being with the group. Behaving Shehem Hemshech Hivri Hadover Kam, and that actually it's really a continuation of he who is speaking now. Because of Marzah, he says ki ein zu kusha. It's not really a problem. Ki kein nimsech b'divrei chanavi v'kama b'komos shemedaber chanavi l'latzmo. So he just clues himself in the third person, so to speak. Ubebeniyahu mavur ki hamishbat ve'eliyahu imahon. Enum Hemshech Eliyahu Elohim David Rebbe Shimon V'Chalon. But it's really, the question is who's speaking here, because of the nature of the third person. Rei B'Shinu and the Sechos Shebedifusim Rishonim Lo Garsa Kan Kum Rebbe Shimon. It doesn't say this concept of Kum Rebbe Shimon. Rebbe Shimon got up. It sounds like he's speaking then. Became Koseb or Yakar Hishachel Shalagirzes Asvarm Shemaschilim as a Tikunei Zohar Mikan Lo Gorsin Kan Tevis Elul. So these words are not here. So there's a question of which defus we're looking at, etc., etc. Let me get a little break here with this. Okay, there we go. Now the next one after number Gimel, it says Kum Rebbe Shimon Aftach Milan Kamei Shekinta. So he's concerned about this, and let's see, where is the Dalet? There it is. Okay. Upasuk the drosh b'divrei Torah lifnei hashchina, before the Shechina. What does he mean by the word before the Shechina? That's what it means. He says he is pleasing the Shechina. We are pleasing the Shechina as a result of the learning that we're doing. So that's the reason why it has this phrase in the presence of the Shechina, because the Shechina loves this. Rei od b'biuri azoar. There's more. Okay, there's a little bit down below, and there's two. Okay, my cold is better, but I still have this cough, and I don't want to embarrass myself, but it does happen. Okay, pasuk the Raya Mehemna. Now the Raya Mehemna is speaking. We know this is Moshe Rabbeinu. So according to Kisa Melech and the Ber L'chai Roi, are they go together? I'm not sure. Or he quotes the Ber L'chai Roi. The Pirish Ben Yohu Kosov, Ki Rebbe Shimon Pasach V'Omer Kain. Once again, it's Rebbe Shimon that began to speak here. This is on Pasach Bedrosh. That's Rebbe Shimon. Ela Shama, Ela Shema. Ela Shemashin Ebel V'Hamaskilin Elin. Who's the Maskilin? Any Rebbe Shimon V'Havria. Einam B'Divrei Rebbe Shimon. So when it says that phrase, the Maskilin, Elin Rebbe Shimon V'Havria, he says here it's not talking about Rebbe Shimon. Einam B'Divrei Rebbe Shimon. They're not the words of Rebbe Shimon. Hein Divrei Hama'atek. So these are actually the words of the editor or the person who published this. So who is that? I don't know. Is that the Ramdal, Moshe de Leon? I'm not sure. It doesn't say. Rebbe Shimon Haim Divrei Ma'atik. So this is telling me that Rebbe Shimon said what he said, but when the actual SEFER is put together, somebody puts it together. Haim Divrei Ma'atik SEFER HaTikunim Shenosfer V'Soch Divrei Rebbe Shimon, who adds this on to the words of Rebbe Shimon. Because of Shenirish or Rebbe Abba Hosif Kain, and it sounds like Rebbe Abba. Now I also want to say that Rebbe Abba is the scribe. So there's also apparently a SEFER by that name that gives you different possibilities of what the nusach really should be. Let's go behind number Hey and let's go on to this first line, which says V'Amar Hinei Ne'emer B'Daniel. So now we're going to quote Daniel. Let's see, let me get this back here. Where was I? There we are. V'Amar Hinei Ne'emer B'Daniel V'Hamaskilim Yaskira K'Zohar Abrakia. Now the question is, Maskilim is Lashon Seichel. So these are people who have a deeper understanding. He says, Yaskira, they shine like the, I guess, the illumination of the heaven. Let's see what this says. He says this is number Vav, Daniel. He says like this. Let me get this up a little bit. There we go. Daniel, he says, "V'maskilin yaskira kazora kia." That phrase, "Imatzdiki harabim kokochavim la'olam voed," and the what and the kazora is here, "Imatzdiki harabim," people who can really bring great ideas into the majority. They're like stars. Pashat pshat kasev medaber al chachamim maskilin b'teres of tervim mitzvahs. Shehem yazkira l'asi devo, because actually they will illuminate. Now, I'm not sure what he means like l'asi devo. Does he mean that they shine towards us as we go towards olam bina, that we go towards bina, or does he mean in a future time? Kazohar habrakia, like the phrase the Zohar, the shining of the rakia. The Zohar nidrash pasuk zera pamayim rabam. So there are many different times that this particular pasuk about the maskilim is darshan. He says, okay, Tikunei Zohar kan, it says over here, V'chein b'sisra Torah drashim b'kol sfira ezecha b'chinas Zohar yesh bo. What aspects of this Zohar, of the shining of this light, the light of the Ein Sof, really, is being represented, yesh bo. V'chein nizboyer kan ki hamaskilim heim rashbi v'chaverov. V'lolam b'emshech HaSefer, as we go along in the Sefer, yidrosh od ofanim rabim, as we see b'bir pasuk zeh. Now after number 6 comes v'gomer, etc. Let me get back upstairs. There we go. V'yesh the drush of pasuk b'ofen zeh. Now let's try this. V'hamaskilim, there's a note on that, but we did that one already. Elin Rebbe Shimon v'Havria. Elohen Rebbe Shimon v'Chaverim. And there's a number Zion on this one. So let's look at number Zion. Let's go back down and let's go and look at. So he has so many different notes that you keep track of it. Okay, anyway, he says this is number Zion. Shehem Sheshes Chaverim. These are the 6 Chaverim whose names right now I don't remember anymore. Sheyatzar Mina Idra B'Shalom, that came out without, what would you say, without being transferred, body and soul, into the next world. V'rei Mashu, in other words, they were still standing and walking. V'rei Mashu Huvach B'mavu, the Zohar, Shemadoros Mahadorosein of Shematzino of the Zechav Remiz Noah, so that we find that there's, I'm not sure this phrase is. I think he says, I think it says the word, Madura. Shemahadoroseino Shematzino of the Remiz Noah. We see a very beautiful remiz over here. What does it say? Kehemaskilim Ola B'Gematria 461. It's very interesting. Communion Shimon Imakoilo. So the Maskilim really goes on Rebbe Shimon. V'Zahiro Ola B'Gematria, the word V'Yazkiro, and they shine, Ola B'Gematria 238, which is the minion of the word Bar Yochai Imakoilo. So saying very strong things about the light of Rebbe Shimon. Going on up above after number Zion, it says Shehem Razkiro, that they shine. V'yavirakat iskanshu l'ma'avad hai chibura, when they got together to make this group. And he says, kasher his asvu la'asos es achibur hazeh, ki reshusa is yehiv lahum. Rishus nitna lahem, and here is our number ches. Rishus is given to them. So what's going on with this idea of Rishus is given to them? So we had the concept, well, who actually gave them the Rishus? Let's see. The Visha Bisman Rebbe Shimon. Adayan lo nitna Rishus l'chtov devarim shabal. How about that? This is by the time of Rebbe Shimon. We still didn't have the Mishnah written down. And certainly they're dealing with Sodas Torah that you have to hide them. So he says, Al Kain, Rishus, and required permission. Miyuchedes, a specific permission, in order to put this keeper together. Became costed b'shas ratzon. Also, it writes over there, Nesinas HaRishus, the giving of the Rishus, Chois Kedei L'Kalos L'Acherim, as Hasodas, is the whole reason is that other people can learn these secrets. Aval L'Chadish L'Atzman B'Sodas HaTorah Lo Choyes Tzrichen L'Rishus. They didn't really need Rishus. So let's go on, and now we're going to be in the Biuria Zohar. And we'll just read across and go into some of these various different ideas as we are exploring this work of this yeshiva. I guess that's the name of the yeshiva. Is that the name of the yeshiva, or is it just Rabbi Daniel Biton? I don't know. So it says, Kum Rebbe Shimon, Aftach Milan Kamei Shchinta. So this, I want to go on this phrase. Nearly, so he says like this, the Ritzon Lomer, the maskil ledava b'midos ve'eses spheres the zer anpin asher heim lamala kodem the shkinas malchus. These are elements. Let's see, the words are kum Rebbe Shimon iftach milin kamei shchinta. So they're saying that what is coming to the shchina is something that existed before the shchina. A maskil ledava b'midos eses spheres the zer anpin asher heim lamala kodem the shchina, which is malchus. In other words, they contribute to Malchus. They become into Malchus. That's the meaning of the phrase in the presence or before the Shechina. Valkein Omer Kum Rebbe Shimon, and so therefore it says Rebbe Shimon, get up, Rebbe Shimon. Ki milan de duchura chachem b'mida. Now, how do we get to that? Did I miss something? He says. The words are, the last line was, meaning that they're words of masculine words. So, well, I guess I could touch it up. He says, this is before the receptacle. This is what's inside of Zeranpin. And when the Zer Anpin is Zokef, it's like the male. He's I guess tall or stands upright. He's making that metaphor. So when it says Kum Rebbe Shimon, he's going to be talking about what's coming through Zer Anpin. Ki moil the dechura. So he said milin the dechura when the male speaks, which is Zer Anpin, hein baramida. Let's go over to the next one, number Vav. He says, Aftach milin kamei shkinta, ama kamei shkinta. What does that mean? We're up at the top of the next page. He says, the Rashbi, Ayide Esko, I pronounce it, V'limuda Rebisodus Torah, Goren la'amed es hashkina panim b'panim, he causes the amida of the shkina face to face. So this is it. He says what? He's he's face to face with the Shekhinah. It's like he's kissing the Shekhinah. Previously, he had said he represents the male, so therefore he stands up. So now he's facing face to face with the Shekhinah. Kameh in front of her, daika. Koloma l'tzorach uponim. That is, he's speaking to her, and again, I'm not sure what it means, l'tzorach uponim, but it means intimacy. V'yudua ki mitam zeh nekroy ha'chachamim apish shchinta, and this is because we have this phrase apish shchinta, because they want to meet the shchina. This is lashon devekas. V'od nirbe chadei pesiyata d'shmaya, that they opened up different ideas or words and began to speak in the presence of the Shekhinah. But this word he wants to say kamei actually means intimacy. Lahodia ki SEFER hatikunim hu nischadesh v'nisakim ba'avara v'tikun asiya kanoida. And that's to tell us that the tikkun that's taking place is in our low world of asiya. Now it's known. We want to talk in the Kamei Shechina. That's what he's saying. So where is the Shechina? So he says the Shechina actually is Mekana. She has actually set herself up. Her dwelling place is in Etzia. Sia Vihi Nikros Shkinta, and she's called the Shechina. Let's go to the next one. Back to this phrase, V'maskilin Elin Rebbe Shimon B'Havria, so we had that phrase. So what's maskilin? Yikruch ha'mistaklin, Yikruch ha'mistaklin b'pnimius ha'devarim v'alomim. So the ability to be able to look into pnimius and those places and their hiddenness. V'ha'inyan muchach ma'atzmo, so this is really understood by itself. Ki maskil vadai godol mechochma v'navon. So he says a maskil is more, let's say, ethereal, less physical than even chochma or navon is bina. Okay, so he explains, ki navon b'bina v'chochma maskil hu lashon seichel shehu mechochma al yoina, which is from a higher level of chochma. Now I'm not sure what that means, that phrase. Does he mean it comes from Kesser? It becomes from a, what would you say, a parts of which is higher? Masha ein kein chacham shehu b'chachma, which is when you use the word chacham, you're talking about somebody who can paskin, let's say, for example, and what we need to know here in this world. But there's another seichel that's panimi to that. That's what he wants to say. You can learn this from this pasuk in Mishli. The chacham lev yikare navon. So a person who has wisdom in his heart, yikare navon is under navon lashon bina. Pirish mi hu chacham mitzad lamed beis desivus shehi shuhu lamed beis, which I'm not sure what he's trying to say. Let's try it again. Pirish mi shuhu chacham mitzad lamed beis desivus. Now, exactly what this means, I'm not a brother Shem Lamed Beis, which are in fact the 32. Zerosh Yikrach Navon. So that person who understands the flow of light that's coming from Chochmah, or perhaps it means the Chochmah Stimah, that's coming out of that, goes into the number 32 different paths. Sheyikra Navon. That person is called a Navon. Now, Navel goes along with Bina, so I guess it means that where the paths flow. Mifnei shegilu elamed beis nesivos hu, because this is a person who's able to reveal the 32 different pathways. How did he do this? He does this through Bina, his understanding. Amnam chacham mechachmari law hu vadai maskil. So that person who has a chachma, which is coming from a devekus, which is at a higher level, that person is called a maskil. Let's try to give us a definition of what a maskil is. All of the emer v'chachman adif minavi. Why? V'chein pirsha Rabbi Zohar, also the Zohar says, maskil al davar, a person who's maskil on something. Maskil davar chalon emer ella al davar. So he used to say what? Davar means something physical or something tangible. Behind the shemaskil b'binimios al davar, a person who's able to what's the right word for maskil? To really perceive the panemius of a davar. Kolomer hamalchus nikras davar. So now we said malchus is called davar, but for different reasons. One because of physicality, and the other words because malchus speaks. 1 second. Okay. Uv'mashalamala b'mena the haidach of yisod ala malchus. That is what's up above. In other words, this maskil is coming from there. So then it's relative to what it's talking about, and it goes up into chokhmah. Ki yisod chokhmah inyan echad. Ki yisod, he says these two things, yisod and chokhmah, which is a little difficult to understand what he means here. Yisod and chokhmah are one idea. So in other words, if there's chokhmah, it has to be transferred. That's what I think he means, but I'm not sure. The Yosha Rebbe Shimon v'Chaveirav koyu b'dor hahu bala yisod of Benimius HaTorah. They really understood the foundation. I think what he means, again, is the hashpah that comes out of yisod, the yisod of chokhmah, and connects with Bina. These people who were able to take that and place that, it's sort of like a lashon yichud, be able to place that inside, those people are called maskilim. So let's see if I can read this real fast. Near Visyata, the Shemaim, maskilim osius, remade these words, hamoshke kalim, piece or extend out or develop kalim. The os kaf yischaber the osius shalomalach of shalamata, so because of the kaf, which is in the middle of that word, causes it actually has a chibur. It's an interesting idea, which were the letters that came before and those that came after. When we said that the vessels that he says the oros, I think he's talking about olam and akudim, so shvirus akalim, yeah. V'secha piraj techa b'siyanta the shemayim b'mamecha b'bishta b'sof b'sechtas kalim. The Amar Rebbe Yossi, he says ashrecha kalim sh'niknasa b'tumba v'yotza b'tahara. So that's that it is when you break them, they're tahor. That's an interesting idea that really could be worked up. We mean to say that that's what he does mean to say. He says that in the kudim, that when they break, they become tahor. Before that, they were full of tuma. So he said, al yedecha limud hasod b'prat sodas etikunim shehem ikarim nisyas b'tikun olam asiyah hoya moshkim nitzutzos hanikroim kein lamata b'makam yiridas in the place of death, which is in olam abriya. La'alois and lamala, and to bring them up. V'lechein itmar abalayich v'hamaskilim yaschir gezora akiyah. That is, those who bring those kelim out, they're going to shine. I think we're out of time. There's more to be said here, but we'll see you on the back end, God willing.